A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. The 29th session of the Conference of the Parties, COP29, to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change opened in Baku, Azerbaijan, on Monday, with a rallying call from UN Climate Change Executive Secretary Stiell for global leaders to take decisive action against the escalating climate crisis. As nations gather to discuss and negotiate critical climate policies, Stiell emphasized the urgent need for an updated global climate finance target and robust action on carbon markets, particularly through finalizing Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. This article outlines mechanisms for international cooperation on climate action, enabling countries to work together to meet their emission reduction targets effectively. Stiell's address underscored the critical importance of the UNFCCC process, stating, "This UNFCCC process is the only place we have to address the rampant climate crisis and to credibly hold each other to account to act on it." He warned that without the framework provided by these agreements, humanity could be on a catastrophic trajectory towards a 5-degree rise in global temperatures. India's priorities at the conference are expected to focus on holding developed nations accountable for their climate finance commitments, enhancing resilience for vulnerable communities, and achieving an equitable energy transition. Experts anticipate that these discussions will be pivotal in shaping the future of global climate policies. Stiell called for an ambitious new climate finance goal, arguing that it is not merely an act of charity but a self-interest for all nations. He noted that economic resilience in every country relies heavily on comprehensive climate funding, urging delegates to take concrete steps on key issues such as adaptive supply chains, effective adaptation indicators, and improved transparency measures to assess climate action progress. Furthermore, Stiell highlighted the upcoming Climate Plan campaign, an initiative by the UNFCCC aimed at assisting countries in crafting and updating their national climate plans. He stressed that now is the time for global cooperation to rise to the occasion, urging attendees to demonstrate determination and ingenuity in achieving meaningful outcomes during the conference. As COP29 unfolds, there is mounting pressure on countries to find innovative financing solutions to aid poorer nations in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and adapting to extreme weather impacts. The estimated annual funding requirement stands at $1 trillion, with developed nations committing to provide about half of this from public sources. The remaining funding is expected to come from innovative financing sources, such as levies on high-carbon activities, including private jets and oil extraction, as well as taxes on wealth, which is gaining traction amid rising global inequality. However, implementing these financing mechanisms poses significant challenges, as they may create winners and losers among nations and stakeholders. Many developing countries have expressed frustration over the slow pace of climate finance access, which they describe as meager, bureaucratic, and costly. Reforming institutions like the World Bank to facilitate easier access to climate finance could unlock billions in investments from both the private sector and public funds. Fossil fuel companies have seen unprecedented profits since the onset of the Ukraine crisis, with 5 major private firms alone raking in over $280 billion in profit in just 2 years. Taxing these windfall profits has been suggested as a viable source of climate finance, with even the International Energy Agency advocating for such measures. Former world leaders, including Gordon Brown, have also called for a levy on petrostates, arguing that it would make a significant contribution to climate finance without substantially impacting their profits. Additionally, the inequity in carbon emissions is stark, with a small percentage of the global population responsible for a disproportionate share of emissions from activities like flying. Implementing levies on flights, especially those taken by business and first-class passengers, could target this growing carbon inequality gap. Similarly, a small charge on international shipping could help fund climate initiatives, as this sector is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. The wealth gap has widened dramatically since the COVID-19 pandemic, with billionaires amassing unprecedented wealth while the purchasing power of the poorest segments of the population has declined. Proposals for a billionaire tax have emerged, with Brazil's president advocating for a modest 2% tax that could generate substantial revenue while affecting only a small number of individuals. As discussions continue at COP29, the stakes are high, and the need for collaborative action and innovative financing solutions has never been more urgent. The world watches closely as leaders navigate these complex challenges, striving for agreements that can lead to meaningful change and a sustainable future for all. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.